Hey, what's up guys, Ruben Arce here with another video for the Cinematography Lab. Today I'm proud and happy to introduce my first official product, a rod support accessory for Bolex cameras that have a flat base. I developed the accessory in collaboration with Do All. They used to offer a similar product, so we took the idea and improved the design. The accessory is oriented for professional filmmakers, rental houses, and colleges who use their cameras to create professional work. This accessory was designed from scratch to work with cameras like the H16, Rex 3, Rex 4, Rex 5, M4, M5, S4, SBM, EBM, EL, and the Bolex H8, Rex 3 and 4. This accessory is attached directly to the camera and creates a strong connection between the camera and the rods. It can be adjusted horizontally to be used with cameras that have been converted to Super 16. So the same accessory can be used with regular, Ultra, and Super 16 cameras. I wanted to keep the accessory small and unobtrusive. For that reason, vertical alignment is not possible. But that is not a problem, since almost all modern matte boxes can be adjusted vertically. The Aries Do All rod support accessory uses the 15mm standard introduced by Arri in the 1970s and that is used extensively today. There is an array of accessories that can be mounted on 15mm rods and that you can use with your Bolex now. For a long time, photographers and cinematographers tried to find solutions to issues like light entering the lens causing artifacts. They also wanted to mount filters, matte boxes, and other accessories like bellows in front of the lens, but they didn't want to put that much stress on the lens itself. Several rails and rod supports were used by manufacturers, but there was not a standard at the time. In recent years, the Arri rod standard has become extremely popular. Since the patent expired, everyone can use the standard now. Literally, hundreds of accessories made for this system can be found on the market. In a previous video, I showed an accessory I reverse engineered and updated to add rod support to all their Bolex cameras. I have added rod support to many other cameras, but those products are not ready to be launched yet. But why do I think rods are needed on cameras in general? Well, rod support brackets allow you to use rods on your camera, and that allows you to use accessories along the length of the lens, like a follow focus, lens support, and monitors. Rods also allow you to mount accessories in front of the lens without attaching the weight of the accessory to the lens itself like a matte box. Depending on the design of the camera and the rod supports, you can use accessories like shoulder mounts. You can use handlers with the Aries Do All rod support accessory and the Bolex. Just be careful to never put all the weight of the camera on the handlers. The Aries Do All rod support accessory is a light part made of aluminum and has limitations. Now that we know how rod supports can make cameras more functional with modern accessories, let's talk about why having a matte box in front of the lens is important. If you want people to ask if you're shooting a movie, police officers asking for a permit, or if you want your camera to look super cool, you should use a matte box. The most important function of a matte box in reality is to prevent light rays from reaching the lens and creating visual artifacts. When you shoot with the camera pointed against a light source, some of that light is going to enter the lens and produce lens reflections and flares. This effect was considered a no-no in Hollywood and was a reason to stop the camera back in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, but it can be seen as a cool effect today. As a matter of fact, it's not a big deal when you are using modern lenses with modern coatings that can handle lens flares very well. But some cinematographers, directors, or camera operators just don't want lens flares at all, since this effect washes the image and color out. In those cases, a matte box and its additional extensions or flags can help you control those light leaks. Even if you are not pointing the camera directly towards the light source, having a matte box can improve the contrast of the image by creating a dark environment for the lens. When you are using old lenses like the Kern Payard, Ivar, Suitar, Angenieux, Kodak, Bell & Howell, and some Berthiaud, protecting the lens from light contamination can be even more important. Most lenses used on 16mm cameras are all lenses that have all coatings or no coatings at all. These lenses have been sitting around collecting dust, and those particles of dust are going to make themselves apparent when the lens receives direct light rays. Another reason to avoid lens flare, and this is a personal opinion, is because the bokeh that these all lenses produce is very unpleasant and distracting. When I watch movies, I'm paying attention to the story. A lens breathing or a not perfectly rounded bokeh is not going to bother me, but seeing a bunch of stop sign-like reflections with a hole in the middle is definitely going to make me question, what is that? Now you know why a matte box, which is basically a cone with a hole in the middle, can help you improve the image you capture, but that is not its only function. Most matte boxes can hold filters in front of the lens without being attached to the lens like screw-on filters. The matte box has 1, 2, or 3 filter trays that will hold the filter in front of the lens. In some cases, these trays can be rotated to adjust polarizers. When it comes to filters, there are several size standards. Filters can be found in 4 by 5.65 inches, and a size that has become popular with DSLR and small camera shooters, the 4x4 standard. We can talk about the pros and cons of those sizes in another video. In my case, I own a set of 4x4 Nisi filters. These are affordable filters, and by affordable I mean 200 each. Brands like Schneider, Lee, and Tiffen are much more expensive, but those companies have affordable filters now too. It may sound like a lot of money for NDs and polarizers, but some items like a light meter, a matte box, lenses, filters, and a universal camera rig can be a lifetime investment. Filters that are mounted on a matte box can be used with digital and film cameras. I can use these filters with all my lenses, regardless of the diameter of the lens, and I only have to carry a few filters. I also can use the 4x4 filters I have with lenses that use filter standards that are not available or common anymore, like this Varios Utar 86EE that uses a size 8 filter which is no longer made. That's a brief description on what rod supports and matte boxes can do and how a simple accessory can bring a camera from the 1960s to be an easier-to-work camera in 2022. Installing the Aries Do-All rod support accessory on your Bolex camera is very simple. You have to remove the leatherette from the plate in front of your camera, remove the 2 screws using a flathead screwdriver, and then attach the L bracket to the camera using the 2 black screws and the supplied Allen key. The second step is to attach the part B to the L bracket using the silver screws. Before you tighten the part B completely, you have to align the rods with the optical center of the camera. To do this, you can use a ruler or even a pencil, or mount a lens on the camera and use a matte box with a donut to find the center. Once the part B is aligned, just tighten the silver screws. At this point, you can use the camera normally with no further adjustments. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to the Cinematography Lab.